Hello again. This time we are creating the preview thumbnail of our modified level set piece from the previous tutorials. Let's get started. Before we export, I wanted to show you how to make a preview image similar to what you would see inside the Guts editor. Now, the preview images won't actually show up from a mod file. That's kind of unfortunate. In order for you to see those images, you would actually have to put them inside of your Torchlight 2 media folder. But I'm going to show you how to make these anyhow. So you remember earlier I left the camera in place. Well, we want to actually look at that camera. We can see what the camera would see by pressing the 0 key on our numeric keypad. I'm not really sure that's the best view for this. And also, the preview images should be square and not rectangle. To change that, we'll come over here and let's just do a 1080 by 1080. 50% is fine because we're going to scale this down a lot anyhow. The preview image size is 64 by 64 pixels at 96 dpi. The 96 dpi is not standard for many of my tools, so we'll have to set that up special. Let's go ahead and center this and make it look the way we want. I'm going to lock the camera to view and rotate this around till I think I have good position. Maybe zoom in some, just so that when somebody wants to see what this piece is, that it's clearly visible. That's too far. I think that'll work. Maybe tilt it just a little more. That looks fine. Now let's get ready to render this. If I render this as is, I see my collision map. That's not what we want to render. To change this, we want to turn off this little camera over here because that will restrict it from being in the render. Try again. Now we see our piece. However, the background is this light gray color. All the other preview images have a black background, and we want to try to match that. We can change the background by clicking on the globe up here and then selecting the horizon color. Now when I render it, that looks more like what we're expecting to see from the Guts editor preview images. Now I want to save this render for later use for my preview images. I can go ahead and save it, but really I want it to be named the same as my mesh file. I want to come over, grab that file name, copy it, Control C, and now when I come down here, save as image, go into my tutorial project, and change untitled this, and it's not a thumbnail yet, so I won't bother with that, but I'll save this image right there, and it's got the correct name on it so I know what mesh pieces it'll match up to. Before clicking save, I want to make sure that I save it as a 16-bit file and not an 8-bit. Otherwise, most image editors won't be able to read it. Now I can click save. And now that's saved, I can press escape and get out of my render view. I want to turn my camera selection back off. I don't care about the rendering of the floor, so that can stay off. But now we're ready for exporting. Now you might be thinking, I have to do this setup for every new model I want to create just to make a thumbnail image? And the answer is no. If you're going to be making several pieces you are going to want thumbnail images for, you can save a new Blender file with all of your camera and background settings. and then link to the models that need thumbnail images. I'll show how to do that in a future video when we have another level set piece to work on. In this video, we learned how to make preview thumbnails for our assets. In the next tutorial, we will export our modified level set piece in preparation for loading it in Guts.